Ladies and gentlemen, Fox News, they're ready. They're ready for war. Let's go. Peace through strength, right? Peace through strength. There, we're going to bomb them into peace. Yeah. That's what they're ready for. I haven't even watched this video yet. I went to YouTube. I'm not listening. We're going to react to it. I went to YouTube and basically typed in Fox News. I went to see what the recent uploads were, and it was like, oh yeah, Tel Aviv being bombed, blah, 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 blah. And we're going to just, I saw this is Waters, I think he's got prime time on Fox News at night, and I was really curious what they're saying, because from what I've heard in recent discussions is that really Fox News has been all out for this. They're ready. Peace through strength, yeah. All right, so we're gonna react to this and see what Waters is saying on primetime Fox. Whoops.
Underground bunker northeast of the capital. This is a different kind of Iranian hostage crisis. Khomeini can hide, but he can't run. For the past 24 hours, Israel's been attacking the area around his underground lair. But Khomeini still talking.
So a lot of gung-ho for Israel.
Tough. Says Iran will not surrender to anyone.
Okay.
And is warning that if America joins the fight and strikes, it'll result in irreparable damage to the United States. Is he bluffing? We don't know. Iranian proxies, which have been severely degraded, are threatening to commit acts of terror against American troops and American ships in the region.
Okay. Obviously, he's not being very objective here. He seems to be speaking about this in more of a look at what they pose to us. Look at the threat they pose. It's his tone. I'm reading into that. I'm not being very objective either. I'm reading into that, but I can hear that like they're committing acts of terror. It's a very specific choice of words there. Acts of terror, war on terror, blah, blah, blah. Very random. This is Iraq 2.0. Let's be very real. This is Iraq 2.0. But let me keep going.
Businesses are now bracing for cyber attacks. Trump says, good luck with that.
Ramping up the threat.
We won't be bullied.
I was the hunted, and now I'm the hunter. It's a big difference. That means I've had it. Okay, I've had
Showing the badass clips.
it. I give up. No more. Then we go blow up all the all the nuclear stuff that's all over
Trump
the
is
place.
the hunter now. Okay.
No, they had bad intentions. For 40 years they've been saying death to America, death to Israel, death to anybody else that they didn't like. They were bullies. They were schoolyard bullies. And now they're not
Playing the
bullies
Trump
anymore.
rhetoric.
Trump's been meeting in the Situation Room with his national security team. Head of Central Command, Army General Eric Kurilla, they call him the Gorilla, has been instrumental in the war planning. The Pentagon's sending in their new state-of-the-art supercarrier, the USS Gerald Ford.
So this is very nationalistic speak. You can hear much of the talking about the post-threat that they have, acts of terror, cyber attacks, blah, 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 blah. Then you show the American leader and such his badassery, oh, look at him, he's so cool. Look, he was the hunted, now he's the hunter, blah, 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 blah. Oh, and our state-of-the-art carrier. This is very nationalistic speak. This is not pro-peace rhetoric that's coming from the right-wing outlet, the largest right-wing outlet there is, Fox News.
And amassing a tremendous amount of assets in the area. Today, Trump had lunch with Pakistan's army chief. Pakistan borders Iran. Seems like something's about to happen. Trump's not showing his cards yet.
Whether you are moving closer or you believe the U.S. is moving closer to striking Iranian nuclear facilities. Where's your mindset on
Obviously, I
that?
can't say that, right?
But what's
You
your
don't
mindset
seriously
on
think I'm going to answer that question. Will you strike the Iranian nuclear component? And what time exactly, sir? Sir, would you strike it? Would you please inform us so we can be there and watch? I
Would
mean,
you say
you
you're
don't know that I'm going to even do
closer to
it. You don't
wanting to
know. I
stay
may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do.
And this is just breaking. The Wall Street
That tone there seemed very impliant, especially how long I'm not trying to do body analysis or anything, but especially how long he hung on to the what time and the, blah, blah, blah.
Journal
he seems
is
bad.
reporting Trump privately approved attack plans against Iran. Now, we don't know what these plans entail, but we're told they include U.S. airstrikes. Unsure if that includes bunker busters. Remember, the latest version of the bunker buster has never been used on the battlefield. It's only been tested. Axios reports that Trump has been quizzing his generals Are they sure if he uses them, they'll be 100% effective? The generals say yes, but Trump's not completely convinced. Caroline Leavitt says all options remain on the table. Trump's been waiting on giving the final order.
He's not really known for listening to experts anyway. Not that this is the thing that he needs to listen about, but, you know, if someone...
Seeing if the Iranians give up and surrender their nuke program peacefully. Sources in D.C. say Trump's out of patience and Iran's up against the clock.
I believe that unless Iran surrenders in the next 48 hours, the United States, in conjunction with Israel, will engage in military action.
Trump says the Iranians want to fly all the way to the White House to negotiate an end to this. But he says it's too late. He doesn't appear to be open to long, drawn-out negotiations where he gets strung along like last time.
We're not looking for a ceasefire. We're looking for a total, complete victory. Again, you know what the victory is.
So, let me be very clear. What I'm witnessing, what I'm assessing here, is it seems that Waters, if that's how you pronounce his name, is not... He's almost got an ambiguity, and I don't know how this is going to turn out. Right now, he currently has an ambiguity of, like, he's just stating the president's position. Of course, there's a lot of nationalistic rhetoric, again, that we talked about, state-of-the-art equipment, blah, 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 the generals, and blah, blah, blah. Really much amping the American prowess and the weaponry that we have, our capability of destroying the underground nuclear facility with, of course, our bombers. We only have the bombers. He didn't say that, but, you know, it's all this stuff that we've been hearing and seeing. Not a lot of questioning going on, I've noticed. Not an ounce of questioning the consequences of such an action and the long-term impacts of an involvement. You know, is this a limited involvement? Is this a one-time thing? Is this a one-time strike with Israel? You know, if Iran strikes American assets after this, you know, this is an escalatory part in which we are now playing to get, even if this is not an immediate war, we are now playing a part in the escalatory process in which now we've opened up Iran to rhetorically be able to strike American assets in the region. Of course, now they use missiles on American assets even if they don't do any damage. Well, what does the U.S. do? Do they respond? I mean, it seems like this is a risk. Now, of course, escalatory events happen all the time. And, you know, they tend to fit. The nothing ever happens crowd gets really excited. But truly, I don't know. People should be really questioning the precedence of this. What is the government, the administration looking to do? Is this a longer term goal? Of course, they would probably, you would think, need the approval of Congress, and Congress needs to hurry up on making sure that the war powers are appropriately in their control. But what's the motivation? What's the factors here? What's at stake? What's at play? I'm saying we shouldn't do this at all. This is stupid. This is very reminiscent of WMDs in Iraq, and you know, I'm not a big fan. I lived, but I wasn't aware at that time. Probably didn't have consciousness yet. I was like measly 3 or 4 years old, and you know, but looking at history, this is very, very paramount to the Iraq War, the WMDs, and, you know, of course, nuclear proliferation and making those arguments. And I'm sure, again, where he's referenced Iran and how they hate Americans and Israelis. We'll get to the immoral argument. And we have a lot of Christian nationalists, you know, who voted for Trump, who would very much like to be part of this operation against Iran. We also have other interests in the United States who would very much love to be part of this operation in Iran, who want a regime change, who want, you know, we have the military-industrial complex. Fox News right now is manufacturing consent for a response. Now, this is kind of a poor one. We don't have a recent terrorist attack, and we don't... you know, and we don't have an attack on American assets. This is a foreign war, Israel and Iran, that we, for some reason, need to be a part of. While at the same time, the rhetoric for the past forever on Ukraine has been, yeah, we don't need to be a part of that. But it seems the relationship you have with Trump is the most important thing that determines if he's gonna, you know, keep to his morals of peace through strength, or dropping bombs on your country, or not giving you military equipment or whatever. It's an ego game to him, almost.
No nuclear weapon.
Trump's made a decision. Iran's nuclear program is gone.
Nuclear
The
proliferation.
person who ultimately decides that
People
is
call Iraq the greatest American victory in reducing nuclear proliferation.
the Ayatollah. He can either let us do it peacefully or we'll do it violently. But either way, the outcome of this war is this. The Iranians will never be able to acquire a nuclear weapon, ever. But time's running out for both sides. Israel's reportedly running low on defensive interceptors, and Iran's reportedly running low on missiles. Iran's also running out of allies. They don't have any friends left in the region. And China, their biggest customer, quiet. And Putin, he has his own problems.
And I spoke to him
He's probably right.
yesterday, and I said, he actually offered to help mediate. I said, do me a favor. Mediate your own. Let's mediate Russia first, okay? I said, Vladimir, let's mediate Russia first. You can worry about this later.
The Persians are pinned up against the wall. They've been completely humiliated by a tiny Jewish nation, a fraction of the size of Iran. And now the Daily Wire is reporting
It's not
that the
impossible
Mossad set up a fake
for Russia to be able to provide ammunitions and arms to Iran, more air defense mechanisms and stuff. And it's not impossible for them to do that. And it's possible.
hotline in Iran and ordered top Iranian military officials into an emergency meeting. And the generals were alerted to a small bunker in Tehran before Israel wiped them out with a precision airstrike.
Again, this nationalistic, cool, how badass, how cool, wow, this is going to be a quick victory. Just like Iraq. It was supposed to be quick. Just like Ukraine for Russia. It's supposed to be quick. But Iraq was a 10-year, 4,000 American deaths, 100 and something thousand Iraqi deaths.
And inside of the country, you're starting to see unrest. Sanctions have crippled their economy so badly that workers are rioting over delayed payments. Manufacturers are striking over high inflation. Schools, cement factories, and pharmaceutical plants are shutting down. The Iranian currency is getting shredded. And Israel's hitting Iranian energy infrastructure, which is going to create price shocks and shortages. So with the streets teetering and its military commanders assassinated, a nuke might be the Ayatollah's only hope. No one really knows how fast they could spin up a device and strap it into a warhead, but Trump says they're only a few weeks away. Back in March, Tulsi Gabbard.
This is actually counter to his own intelligence. I don't know if I have the article right now, but from my understanding, American intelligence has stated this wasn't the case. And there's been arguments back and forth, but I don't know. I don't know.
Said the Iranians were enriching uranium at record levels.
In the past year, we've seen an erosion of a decades-long taboo in Iran on discussing
So didn't we back out of the nuclear agreement?
nuclear weapons in public, likely emboldening nuclear weapons advocates within Iran's decision-making apparatus. Iran's enriched uranium stockpile is at its highest levels and is unprecedented for a state without nuclear weapons.
So will the United States end Iran's nuclear program with a 30,000-pound bunker buster? Or can Israel end it themselves? Israel admits they have options. They could knock out the power plants that run the underground nuke facility. And since they control the air, Israeli commandos could be inserted and fight their way in and then detonate the site with dynamite. If America does it, there would be consequences, nuclear contamination, and internationally there could be some fallout, although I'm sure Trump could handle it. Either way.
Oh, okay. Okay. So he gets in part on the negative consequences, of course. We talk about some of them, none of them being a prolonged and devastating conflict that could extend for a very long time. That's not one, because this is, America badass, one and done. Two, of course, the nuclear issues, the environmental contamination and international fallout. But Trump can handle it because, he's the hunter.
The Iranians would retaliate, and the United States would have to go back onto a war footing in the Middle East. The whole world's watching. It's the biggest moment of the Trump presidency.
That's it?
China and Russia surveying the scene. and so are our trade partners. We're at this moment in history because of Obama and Biden. They signed a toothless nuke deal that let the Iranians keep enriching and let them keep their ballistic missiles, and paid them billions of dollars, which they used to finance their war machine and proxies. Proxies which have been killing Americans for decades. Marines
what happened to this kind of stuff doesn't happen because Trump is a badass, strong leader, and but now
Beirut, soldiers in Iraq, and taking Americans hostage in Gaza.
and no, in the argument of nuclear proliferation and even and all of that, this again counter to American intelligence, even like you trust them all the ways, but we don't have firm evidence that Iran was rushing a nuclear weapon. Second, nuclear proliferation does provide peace. Look at Ukraine. Look at Iran.
And inside of Iran. American deterrence, backed by the threat of violence, is what maintains order in the world. And sometimes there comes a time when the commander-in-chief has to use force to nourish the deterrence and keep the American people safe. Is this one of those times? We're about to find out. Click here.
Wow. Fox News is ready. They are ready for this. They are all in. Just remember this. Remember this. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I didn't expect such a gung-ho position on the... I just didn't. I didn't, but whatever. And from what I understand, there's not a lot of pushback, even though the within Make America Great Again movement, MAGA or whatever, there's some. Tucker Carlson, Steve Bannon, has made some remarks. Some people that might actually have an ethical code of some sort. I'm not sure. Of course, I vehemently disagree with them on many things, but wow. What a shame. He lied to everyone. If he does this, he lied to everyone. Not just weeks ago. The Peace Through Strength campaign, the, don't get involved in foreign wars, everything he's been doing with Ukraine, all of this, it's been a lie. It's been, wow. What a shame. So, with that, that's it. That's all. What else can you say? It's a shame. I'll see you all next time. Thank you.